What's your best or worst story from the 2020 pandemic? I had a brain tumor and remember basically nothing from December 2019 until November 2020, when it was removed. I had a part-time job at an Apple store. The store closed for 4 months. They upgraded me to full-time pay while we were closed. I had a 4-month vacation with increased pay while not counting against my vacation time. I had a baby during the lockdowns, and 3 weeks later got mastitis pretty badly on a Sunday night when most doctors weren't open. High fever, significant pain. One boob swollen red and hard as a rock, so it was pretty obvious what was happening. I called the nurse hotline. They said go to the doctor immediately, because if you don't tomorrow, you'll be hospitalized. We packed myself and the baby into the car and drove down to the medical center 40 minutes away, which was still open. And when I walked in the door, they said, "Do you have a fever?" Yes, I said. I have mastitis. It's pretty bad. They proceed to inform me that they are not able to see people with temperatures or respiratory symptoms because it could be COVID, and instead, I should go to the hospital. The hospital waiting room is actually full of people with COVID and I have a 3-week-old baby. I keep explaining that I do not have any respiratory symptoms. I clearly have mastitis, but they maintain they cannot see sick people. At the medical center, I ultimately realize I'm getting nowhere, and we drive to another medical center, which fortunately does agree to see sick people. In the waiting room, I come across another man who was just turned away from the first medical center in the middle of a serious asthma attack, because that's also respiratory symptoms, see. Long story short, the doctor I saw took one look at me, touched my breast, said, "Oh, that's not good," and gave me antibiotics. Whole thing took 2 minutes and I was improving by the next morning. January 2020. I have never-ending migraines and go to the hospital. Shit happens, yada yada. It takes a few appointments, some CTs, some MRIs, doctor. I can't tell you what's wrong, but you need a neurologist ASAP. I get on that. Neurologist. You need a lumbar puncture and a MRV February 2020. The MRV is in a portable shed in the parking lot. I have to change in a tent. It's February in Massachusetts. FRI. As I enter the hospital for the LP, a man starts shooting. We run. A valet loses an eye. I then go upstairs and do my procedure. My LP didn't go great. I have a CSF leak. All the cerebral spinal fluid has drained from my body. It's agony. I can't stand without my legs giving out on my... The hospital admitted me to keep an eye on me but won't fix the issue for 5 days. Also, I got a call my grandmother died. Son, in the hospital. It feels like 1,000 are scraping at the inside of my skull. I can only lay flat and can't move. Same. Only also the hospital's doing construction right below my room. 2. They decide to do the blood patch at 5 p.m. I was conscious. They take blood from your arm and put it between your vertebrae, and you can feel it. Not great. WED. I realize I haven't eaten since Friday. The nurses haven't asked me, and I forgot about food in my agony. I eat then sleep. Thursday. Grandmother's wake Friday. Grandmother's funeral Saturday. Grandmother's burial. I get a diagnosis for my illness. Too much cerebral spinal fluid crushing my brain. They put me on meds and recommend I see a neuro-ophthalmologist and make me an appointment for March 2020. Lockdown. My doctor's appointments get canceled. I become catatonic in agony. I start losing my sight as the cerebral spinal fluid crushes my optic nerves. Because I haven't really had first appointments with the specialists yet, they can't advise me, so I'm stuck and can't get help. This goes on for months, with my appointments with the specialists getting rescheduled. I don't see my first specialist until August of 2020. I spent about 6 months in bed in agony, unable to read or watch TV or do anything at all because COVID shut down the medical system. I closed the doors to our facility with families pleading on the other side of the glass. I got COVID finally 20 days before the vaccine was a thing. But one time I had left the COVID unit and was buying paint on my way home. A lady invaded my space by leaning over my shoulder saying, "It's okay, I'm not sick." I told her I had literally just clocked out from the COVID unit as a nurse, and she started crying and ran. Worked in the ICU during COVID as an RN. Running short on ventilators, patient's oxygen kept dropping despite adjusting meds, suctioning, etc. The ventilator ended up malfunctioning, and I had to manually bag the patient for nearly an hour because no other vents available. All vents were in use by other patients on their deathbed. Every time I'd come back from a day or two off work, most of the patients that had been there before were now dead. So many patients put into body bags. It was honestly so traumatic, and it still sucks to see people say that it never happened or wasn't that bad.